Hello guys and gals, me Mudahar, and ladies and gentlemen, you know what I love? Peak insanity. And you know what gaming community is like peak insanity? A lot of people will say, oh, it's the Elder Scrolls community, it's the Half-Life community, it's all these other gaming No, I'll tell you right now, straight up, the most insane community is the Grand Theft Auto community. You wanna know why, ladies and gentlemen? Because you have individuals analyzing acoustic sound charts of Rockstar game studios just to identify when the third goddamn trailer for a game will drop. Yeah, we're getting to a point where we're actually using we're actually doing reconnaissance at the studio of what probably one of the most anticipated games ever made, and trying to understand just when they'll release the next bit of marketing hoopla. Now, before we go into this, ladies and gentlemen, I think I have to pretty much stress and say this is probably a joke, okay? The last time I covered this kind of stuff, I talked about something funny in the GTA 6 community where, one individual was using, fucking star charts, mapping out, where we were in our solar system, and a lot of people were like, well, this is just fucking unhinged. Obviously, it's unhinged, but you know what? We can have fun, right? That's the whole point of the internet. That's what we try to fucking do. So yeah, even in that case, I had fun with it. I actually owe that person a copy of Grand Theft Auto 6 when it drops. So to give you an idea, where is this story coming from, ladies and gentlemen? Now, there's a Reddit board called r/GTA6 unmoderated. And one of the last bastions of true, honest freedom here is where, yes, it is actually a fucking Reddit community with over 250,000 people visiting it. And there ain't no motherfucking signs of a Reddit moderator here. No smelly fuck telling you can't post whatever you don't want to post. So ultimately, compared to the real community, these people have reached levels of unhinged that we're gonna go down slowly as a team together and just fucking laugh at. To give you a quick idea, this is the kind of community right here that's just sort of making AI slop. And it really is just all AI slop, to be honest with you. These people are looking at individual pieces of the media and saying, look at that, boys! This motherfucker's closing car doors without actually touching it. It's been so wild that in the last 2-3 weeks, I've seen people rewatch these trailers and find out, oh my god, there's light poles that aren't even connected to the ground. Maybe we should delay the game to 2027. Now, from my understanding, Rockstar is actually pretty confirmed with releasing this game around this year, November of 2026. So, all things aside, basically we should have access to this game in less than 160 days. Again, I've always got my expectations. Well, shit could be delayed any moment, right? It is what it is. See, my level of hype for GTA 6 has actually diminished to nothing. At this point, I'm kind of just playing older games. I'm looking at goofy stuff like this in the community, and if the game gets delayed or if it actually drops, really doesn't fucking bother me at the end of the day, okay? I'm done actually kind of hyped up. I'm just waiting for more information, which maybe next month we might get something, maybe the month after. Hey, maybe they won't even talk about the game until it fucking drops, okay? At this point, anything is fucking possible. So again, 20 days ago, there was cute posts like this, where people were like, launch day, baby. I love this level of positivity where the guy just puts the fucking frame of the first person viewpoint in the game, holds out a controller and just pretends to play it. I love that level of positivity. But about 7 days ago, ladies and gentlemen, there was one user by the name of ThenPomegranate625. So when you go into this person's actual Reddit board history, you can see that the guy has 98 contributions, active in literally just this one Reddit board, 1 week old. And yeah, the person has been kind of sharing some of the most unhinged research I've ever fucking seen in this story. So how did this all start, ladies and gentlemen? 11 days ago, the first post that I actually really saw was this right here. So yeah, this is AI generated slop, but ultimately this person did an acoustic and decibel charts of what appears to be Rockstar headquarters. So yes, no joke over here, this person has allegedly, again, this is not, I can't 100% confirm this situation, but allegedly this person has used this microphone rig setup, placed it outside Rockstar Game Studios, and has apparently been using it to capture acoustic data. Now, how the fuck would this microphone setup placed outside the offices capture the internal acoustic data for Rockstar? I don't fucking know. I don't think it can. But it gets even more insane. So anyways, to go back to the story, immediately people were looking, this one user was like, listen, back on May 31st, there was a average reading, basically the baseline, right? Like if you're doing one of those like fucking lie detector tests, they'd be like, what is your name? Where do you work? So again, the baseline. But again, there was an erratic post around June the 2nd. And on June the 2nd, a spike had occurred going from 60 decibels all the way to, like, not often on this channel do I look at stuff on the internet that freezes me up, mid-thought. And I think, what the fuck am I looking at? I am looking at an unhinged man or woman, I really don't know, putting a camera or like microphones allegedly outside Rockstar and tracking. I'll tell you right now, look, all jokes aside, this community has been responsible for probably some of the best gaming shit posts that I've seen. Look, you can be like the Elder Scrolls community and fucking cope and cry at the fact that your game was announced like 20 years ago and no one's talking about it. The company isn't talking about it. You could be like the Half-Life fans, where every time there's like maybe a slight change in the Steam API, these people basically come back to life. But the Rockstar, these people know that they have a game coming out in November. They actually have seen 2 trailers of their game with quote-unquote gameplay. And we're pretending to be so starved that we're doing shit like this. It's crazy stuff. But anyways, he starts pointing out peak times over here, and obviously the community, is kind of like, what? So you can see over here, hey guys, long-time viewer, this is my first post. Following the data included, it's quite evident that there are more people, louder movements, and more things going on at the Rockstar headquarters. It's got me really excited because it just shows that there is most likely more people at Rockstar, meaning we may get something soon. Specifically 11 a.m. The sound goes up. I believe that's Rockstar most likely inviting people from Moaning Tea to celebrate the soon release of Trailer 3. It could just be somebody's birthday. It could just be your microphone rig wasn't really picking shit up. This measures the acoustics and decibels around the headquarters, which I have personally installed using my own experience in building such products. I think that due to the increase, that could mean there's more employees, executives convening at the headquarters to discuss the release. In my experience working in corporate, this usually occurs before something goes live. This has me really excited, guys. I think it's happening. So obviously the first key response here is, I can't tell if this is real or fake, but either way, it's unhinged. It is pretty fucking unhinged, So one other user makes a really good estimate over here, like really good actual advice here. I take it a step further and analyze wastewater and sewage. More poop volume means more people, and dietary analyzation shows us how stressed out they are. It's like, they had this thing, they call it the Washington, pizza index, or whatever the fuck, and it's like, anytime there's just, a war happening or some crazy shit in the White House, like Bin Laden's about to get whacked, you just look at you go to Google, you go to the Google, what is it, the Google, Maps, and you look up every pizza chain, and you look at how busy they are, and if at 2 a.m. they're ordering pizzas like crazy, the White House is up doing some crazy shit in D.C. Because I've been to the White House at 2 a.m. That shit's dead as fuck. I almost got black bagged by some goddamn federal agents because I was hanging out too close to the White House back in the day. But you know what, ladies and gentlemen, it's a different story for a different time. This somehow has topped it. They could have used the equivalent Washington pizza engine, but now we're trying to figure out the most unhinged ways to just even get a slight sniff that Rockstar is doing something, you know what I mean? And it's kind of I'm not gonna victim blame Rockstar here, but the reality of it is that being that we've received no information, it's funny, for anybody that isn't following the Rockstar gaming community, anytime Rockstar posts anything about any game update, usually everyone gets excited. They're like, oh my god, it could be GTA 6. And then, like, when it actually happens, it's usually like some fucking dog shit GTA Online update where they, like, give you double XP for a fucking playlist nobody's doing. Or it's like, heaven forbid, like a Red Dead Online update. You know, for the 5 people that play that game, you know, they, like, wake up and it's like, oh my god, I get double XP doing fucking all in this game online. So really, that's how it is. And this has happened so much over the course of, I would say, 2 to 3 years, that people just don't learn from it. You know, they just don't get it. So anyways, ultimately, the end of the day, you know, somebody's like, bro is not okay. An IQ too high. You're right, I'm not. I really just want to play GTA 6. Go figure. So one person says, this is historic. I don't know if it's really necessarily all that historic, but at the end of the day, it's just amazing to see how the community has gone. Now, the audio was already insane, but it got even deeper. I would pull this up, but ultimately the update on acoustics and decibel monitoring was deleted by the original person. And, you know, a lot of people were like, man, this might actually be fucking fake. Checking the bins for coffee cups to see stress levels, and the Reddit account isn't even a day old? Come on, guys. So at some point, everyone was looking at it, it's like, was this image generated by AI? Probably, maybe. A lot of these checkers are usually bullshit anyway, so you really don't know until, of course, there's like a restraining order at this point put against the guy. Now, where it got even wilder, ladies and gentlemen, was when then Pomegranate 625 was like, okay, maybe the acoustics is kind of stupid. Let's start analyzing the vehicle data of their parking lot. Yeah, you're hearing me right, ladies and gentlemen. You know, this is kind of shit that when I explain it to, like, Jen, she's like, okay, you guys are unhinged. But anyways, read it here. Hi all, I hope you all are well. As you may know, I set up acoustics around the Rockstar HQ to measure audio levels, specifically near a meeting room. I can confirm that upon returning my rig to check the latest data, it was no longer there. I didn't think this would happen, and that there was a possible risk in leaving equipment near the HQ. You know, even if this is actually real, this is getting creepy if it is real, obviously all jokes aside. I want to assume this is just somebody fucking with me, but if you are actually placing this kind of equipment around their offices, like, I don't know the legality of it, but, like, it is creepy, okay? Don't do this. But anyways, this brings me to my next idea, which I implemented in the same night. The last night, which has already seen some really interesting data. This graph shows car traffic of the Rockstar HQ, the value of cars, the amount of cars, times, and timing. Such data allows us to speculate how many executives may be spending time at the HQ as opposed to regular employees. Essentially, this requires more hands-on work as I have to be present myself in order to prevent surveying the wrong things and getting arrested. Like, the fact that you wrote the words getting arrested, like, you already know you're in the wrong. You know what I mean? Like, why would you do that? Based on my findings, last night saw the most traffic, with the value of cars increasing past 5 p.m. This suggests Trailer 3 is actually happening, genuinely. So, look, even if Trailer 3 drops, I'm pretty sure it's not the fact that oh my god, Jesus Christ. You can literally see per half hour what this guy has done is between the days of, again, like the 2nd of June all the way to the 3rd, he has been taking, inventory of every car. So number of cars, the estimated value of all those cars. And then he's pointing out, like, Rolls-Royce Cool. So basically the most expensive vehicles that would show up, add the lot. Now, I don't know who the fuck is rolling in a Rolls-Royce Cullinan, a $500,000 car to their job, but basically I guess I would imagine, like, hey, that's an executive popping in and out of the actual company. Now again, this is just one level. There was also discussions of taking oxygen levels at the actual place. Because yes, then Pomegranate 625 is actually taking oxygen concentration monitoring of the area. Now I wish I made this shit up, but you can see he's got an atmospheric baseline, the lows, the highs. From what I understand, basically, we'll actually let him explain. Hi all, I had a suspicion that executives were meeting after business hours at the HQ. Well, now my data confirms it. Decreased oxygen levels on a weekend, which is insane to me, guys. Thankfully, I managed to retrieve my acoustics and decibel devices, which were taken by a random person, apparently. So I guess some hobo found it trying to pawn it off. This means that now I'm able to track the decibels of the northwest side of the building, where I suspect A meeting room sits while also tracking oxygen levels. Further to all of this, I started counting cigarettes. You know, it happened again. You know, I'm sitting here wondering what the fuck is going on. What am I reading at this point, dude? This is actually unhinged. So basically, compared to the coffees, tracking cigarettes is better to show stress. The average cigarettes for a consumer sits around 15, but today I counted 71 over 19 hours, with 11 cars present and an average of 2 out of 10 people being smokers. This is an insanely high amount of cigarettes present around the HQ. Strauss Zelnick, I beg of you, forget a fucking trailer. Just give this man like a screenshot. You know what? Just show him like a blade of grass rendered in the newest engine. I think that's all he fucking needs. Like, it's crazy. If you're right, this will be the craziest prediction I've ever seen. I'm telling you, bro, this type of stuff usually isn't coincidence. As he hits the crack pipe. Now, ladies and gentlemen, obviously, look, okay? One person's like, why not just bug the place? And he's like, I wouldn't be able to pull it off. Don't want to go the illegal route either. Which I'm glad he said that. At the end of the day, ultimately, that's the most important aspect of the story. Don't break the law, but also don't be creepy. I wanted to kind of show you this because when I saw this show up in like my fucking like timeline, when I saw this like on the internet, I thought to myself, what the fuck is going on with society? But then I remembered the game that I was covering. It's GTA 6, baby. It's that fucked up. You know what I mean? It's a crazy world out there. When it comes to the GTA, like GTA 6, like game, I'm kind of hyped for it. Like, I don't have this burning desire to, like every day takes forever to like pass waiting for this game. I'm actually just playing a lot of older titles. I'm playing a lot of the older GTA games to kind of 100% as many of them as I can before I go on to GTA 6. But if it's one thing that I'm most excited about, is probably just driving and walking around like the new Vice City, right? Because ultimately the trailers impressed me on a technical sense, like not just the visuals. Like, obviously visuals were going to be great, but it was the first time I really noticed like the amount of NPCs interacting with each other in a natural way, right? Like, seeing clumps of NPCs, single people, them interacting with each other, taking photos, cops arresting people in realistic manners that isn't just running after them, putting cuffs, and leading them to a vehicle that is spawned close by. I think the new GTA 6 looks to be something that kind of elevates that level of immersion, which is what I'm most excited about. I don't really care about playing through the storyline or really fucking with the online. For me, it's more about getting into a car, driving around the city, and seeing sort of where games have technically gone, right? Like, recently I was playing through games like Splinter Cell Chaos Theory, and I was like, it's crazy to see how graphics played so well into just the gameplay, the stealth gameplay of that title. Like, it's a game that if you play right now, it visually holds up. One of my favorite games probably in the last couple years has been this game called Shadows of Doubt, which, if anybody hasn't played it, is sort of this like pixel art aesthetic sandbox game where everything is procedurally generated, and it's sort of a murder mystery that happens in real time. So you're playing as this detective and you're walking around a world that is completely generated. It's totally procedural, and you're supposed to be investigating crimes, right? Like, you go to the crime scene, you capture fingerprints, and there's so many different ways to solve the crime, right? Like, maybe check who called the murder place, the place of the murder. There's ways to check traffic cameras. There's ways to interview people. There's like so many routes to go down. And a lot of it is kind of possible because of where gaming has sort of technically gone, right? And that's the stuff that excites me. And that's one of the primary reasons that I'm so into games like GTA 6, because it's not just like a game to me. It's sort of like the next standard of sort of like the technicals in gameplay. So, hey, maybe it'll be a great, like, technical showcase, hopefully by the time it drops. Again, never hype a video game because, hey, it could always end up like another Cyberpunk situation where it drops like S, and it takes like 3 years for it to fix. I don't think Rockstar is willing to risk their reputation on that, but anything can happen. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, yeah, the community for Rockstar games truly is an insane community. We are capturing oxygen levels, acoustics, At this point, I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure I might see a fucking stool sample at this point. But yeah. Hopefully you had a laugh. If you like what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe. Dislike it if you dislike it. I am out.